it's all very subjective. Are you good enough to ride the big bike? That's the first thing. Are you good enough to ride the big bike? Are you just one of them idiots who bought a bike because their mates have one and he couldn't buy a 600 because their mates have a 1000? So good morning or good afternoon or good evening, wherever you may be. Today I'm doing a vlog about 5 things you shouldn't do on the motorcycle, because otherwise you'll crash. These are just essential skills that everyone should know. They're not advice or anything. I mean, I'm not giving anyone advice, it's just some tips if you're willing to take anything new on board. If not, that's fine, or you may already know them, that's also fine. So number one, what you shouldn't do on the motorcycle is to accelerate or brake suddenly or too hard, especially if you're on a bigger bike. Accelerating really hard all of a sudden can create you a few problems, which could be sudden wheelie. If you release the clutch and accelerate too hard, you can wheelie, or that's when you start off, or during, while you ride, let's say you're like in 3rd gear, and you suddenly accelerate, like on a big bike, like this one for example, like that, you could crash the car in front of you or whatever is in front of you, especially if you're in traffic. And let's say you go through a pothole and you're still learning, you don't have a lot of experience on the bike, you go through the pothole, your wrist accelerates and all of a sudden you're accelerating without wanting to do so. And then braking wise, sudden braking usually happens when people get scared. Yeah, let's say this car in front of me will brake suddenly because, I don't know, there's a deer in front or whatever. If you're a newbie, and especially if you're very close to the car and you don't have time to react, your first reflex will be to suddenly brake. Braking should always be progressive, especially if you don't have ABS. If you have ABS, you might get away with it, but on an old bike like this one, I don't have ABS, so braking should be very progressive. Now, emergency braking, however, obviously needs to be a bit faster, but it still needs to be progressive to a certain degree, because you can easily lock the wheel and crash, especially the rear wheel if you're using both brakes. So that's another topic, but not everyone uses both brakes, especially on the roads. I rarely use the rear brake, to be honest. I mostly use the front brake on my bike. So that's another thing to discuss some other time. But sudden braking, not good. Don't do it. Number 2, why people will crash is because of their lack of skills. And a good example will be group rides. Yeah, so I see this a lot. and a lot of crashes actually happen because of group rides, because obviously in a group you have people with of certain levels and different skills. You got more experience, you got more new people, and obviously always the new people will try to keep up with the more experienced one, and then the experienced ones are usually the ones that are pushing the tempo, so the others feel like they need to keep up, and that's really bad, because if you don't have the skills, you will not be able to lean the bike at the same angle, same lean angle, same speed. You won't be able to brake as fast, you won't be able to react as fast to anything that happens and or surrounds you, so you'll have a very, very hard time. So make sure you know what you do, and if you're riding with a group of people, make sure that they understand you're not very experienced, and you should be responsible for yourself, obviously. And if you see that they are really pushing it, then you have nothing to do with that group. You shouldn't be there at all, because you'll crash. It's as easy as it is. You'll just crash. So number 2, don't ride in big groups, and make sure you have the skills to do so if you do. Number 3, grip. Grip is very, very important on motorcycle, because we only have 2 wheels, and the surface of our wheels that is in contact with the tarmac is very, very small compared to a car. So it's probably the size of a tennis ball, and obviously grip is very important to us, because without grip we have no traction, we have nothing. So you can't ride on the wet like you're riding on the dry. For example, today is a beautiful sunny day, it's Friday, and I've got all the grip in the world. But if it rains, I will have to adjust my riding to the conditions, because I will not have the same grip in the wet. So going back to number 1, which will help you at number 3, your acceleration and your brakes are crucial on the wet, because you can't suddenly accelerate or brake really hard on the wet. Also lean angles, you can't lean as much on the wet with the same tires. Yeah, if you have special tires for the wet, then maybe. But number 4, the mechanical condition of your bike. So you might actually crash because your bike, you don't take care of it, man. You have shit tires, you have shit brakes, whatever, and these are crucial. A lot of people actually underestimate the fact that motorcycle maintenance is very important, because bikes accelerate very, very fast, and they need to stop as fast as they accelerate, and usually they can't. So always be on top of your bike maintenance. Change your brakes, change your brake fluid, change your tires. It's really, really important. A lot of people underestimate the importance of tires. Tires are really, really important. They give you that grip that we discussed earlier. And grip is not important just for accelerating, it's important for stopping as well. So make sure you've got grip, guys. and make sure you've got good tires, because otherwise it's not good and it won't be good for you. The fifth reason you might crash is your ego. It's all very subjective. Are you good enough to ride the big bike? That's the first thing. Are you good enough to ride the big bike? Are you just one of them idiots who bought a bike because their mates have one and he couldn't buy a 600 because their mates have a 1000? So if you're one of them idiots, you should think about your lifestyle choices, because you're not very clever. And it's happening very often. Like, the amount of times people crash because of their egos, people just overestimate themselves, or if they don't overestimate themselves, they still try to keep up with someone more experienced, and obviously they crash because they don't have the experience to ride as fast. So it just doesn't make sense. Why would you crash, or why would you kill yourself? Why would you do that, man? Like, you're supposed to have fun on a bike. You're not supposed to kill yourself. The bikes aren't dangerous as they are. So really, you shouldn't make it even more dangerous. So guys, don't overestimate yourselves. Be honest with yourselves, and if there's room for improvement, which there always is, try to be better. Don't try to lie to yourself that you're good enough, because the price to pay is quite high. Even if you survive the crash, it's still going to be expensive, so, and probably painful. So just take it easy. The bonus one: always take care of the way you park your bike on the side stand, because this is the way I dropped mine. I just didn't pay attention, and the road surface wasn't even, and I stopped. I put the bike on the side stand and it fell down. So always, and also if you're riding in a very hot country and the tarmac is very hot, like the air temperature is about 30-35 degrees, usually the tarmac will melt if you park the bike with a side stand on it, and obviously your bike will fall down. So this is something to keep in mind, because it happened to me as well. I did that mistake in the past, and it's not nice, because you'll have to fix your bike. So hopefully you can hear me well, because I'm on the motorway and I'm actually going to work. But yeah, if you can't hear me well, then this video will not be posted on YouTube and I've wasted my time. Alright, so have a good one, take care, and I'll see you in the next. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share, comment, and see you next time.